All right, we are mounted on my camera thing, and we are about to go for a ride. Here we go. This is my yard. That's my neighbor. Let's not get hit by a truck. All right, here we go. This is the entrance to the park. It's literally across the street from my driveway. Can't beat that. We are now in El Sabo Land Preserve. It's quite gorgeous today here in the park. We're gonna head north. We're only gonna be on this paved trail for about 10 seconds. Alrighty. And here we go, off-roading. Woohoo! I'm gonna try to concentrate and not look at my phone, because I don't. Last thing I want to do with my phone strapped to my chest is crash my brand new bike. So, El Sabo Land Preserve is about 1,000 acres of beautiful woods, and there's 2 lakes and a marsh area, which we'll see later. There's a lot of birds, a lot of deer. There's also some coyote and all kinds of other woodland creatures. And I'll probably encounter some people, and it'll be odd since I'll be talking to myself seemingly, but I'm actually taking you on this nice tour of the woods on my bicycle. And so this is only really the first week I've had with this new bike. Brian and I started mountain biking when one of us was injured and we couldn't run. And this is actually the 3rd mountain bike I've had. The first was a inexpensive mountain bike that I bought at Meijer or Walmart. I can't remember. I think it was Walmart. For, like $100. And I had that for 2 years. And then, even though we were running again, Brian and I decided that we really enjoyed mountain biking, particularly trail riding, single track trail riding. And so when I was in Clinton, I went to this really lovely bike shop there and traded in my Walmart bike for a Cannondale mid-level mountain bike. Very nice bike. I still have it. I call it Ghost Rider. And it's a lovely bike. I've had it for years. But it's an aluminum frame and it's quite heavy. And it has only front suspension. And as everyone knows, my back gave out on me and I had surgery. Look at that beautiful cardinal. I had surgery. And so I'm trying to give my back the easiest life I can have, considering that I'm back to running and mountain biking and all the other things that are jolting. And so my friend Matthew, who's a very serious mountain biker and rides a, $6,000 bike or $8,000, I don't know how much he spent on that thing, said, I really should look into getting a carbon frame dual suspension mountain bike. Well, that's a very expensive proposition. You really can't touch that kind of bike for under $3,000. So I started looking for a used one on Facebook Marketplace, and I test rode several, and I was thrilled to find this one. It's a felt mountain bike. It's bright red. That's why it's called Cherry Bomb. And it's a 2018, so it's not that old really in the life of bikes, and it's had a lot of its parts upgraded. And I ran up to Grand Rapids and test drove it and bought it. To buy this bike brand new would be about $4,000, and I was able to talk my seller down from about $1,500 to $1,350 which is the top of the Blue Book value, actually. And I took it into my local bike shop and had them kind of give it a tune-up. And here he is, out in the park. Brian and I went riding on Saturday on a real, like our more intense trails, and I was thrilled with how well this bike handles trails. It's definitely much easier on the uphills. It has a slightly bigger wheel. My old bike has a 27.5-inch wheel. This is a 29-inch wheel. And the frame weighs a lot less. I'd say about 10 pounds less. I'd say my old bike probably weighs, I don't know, maybe 35, 40 pounds. And this bike's coming in around 25. So it really is great on the hills. And I'm still getting used to having a rear suspension, having like what I call a bouncy butt. But it's definitely going to be better on the back. Okay, enough about the bike. Back to El Sabo. It's a gorgeous July day here in the park. And this is kind of a straightaway here, just through the woods. And we will emerge from this for a moment, cross the paved trail for a second, and then back onto a single track. And I think you can see pretty well. I may edit this video because it's going to take me like an hour to ride the park, and I don't know that you're going to want to hear me narrating or just watch trees coming at you for an hour, but it's fun. Bum, 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 bum. So I bought my house almost 20 years ago in spring of 2004. For a number of reasons. I mean, we were shopping for a house, and we looked at a lot of houses. Greg is kind of an amazing house shopper. And there's another big bird. I didn't really get to see what it was. So Greg made a pretty extensive list of all the houses that were for sale that he really wanted to look at. And so our realtor just kind of like went off our list and showed us all the houses. We really didn't know Kalamazoo very well, but I had basically said I don't want a fixer-upper, and I don't want to live right on top of school. I don't want to live like so close to school that that I go to school all the time, because I'm a bit of a workaholic, and if I was like right near school, I would just go in. So it's nice to be, but I also didn't want a big commute. So we basically drew two concentric circles, one about 10 minutes away from school and one about 20 minutes away from school. And that was our ring in which we looked at houses. And then we had a price range and etc. And then Greg had certain aesthetic things he wanted. So we looked at, God, I don't know, probably 25 houses. And the house we bought is not the first house we made an offer on, oddly, because it was pretty much our favorite. But we got nervous about it because it was funky, not a traditional house. It's different and kind of unique. But we both really liked it, and what I particularly loved about it was across the street was this just big forest. And I asked the realtor, what is that? And at the time there was no entrance there. There was no paved trail in El Sabo at all. So it was just kind of forest across the street. And she said, oh, that's El Sabo Land Preserve. Woo, here we go. All right. That was a little moment of excitement down this hill. Still coming. There's my railroad brakes. All right. All right, you're probably wondering why my brakes are squeaking so much. Here's the thing, when you get chain oil on your disc brakes, they squeak until that is all gone. I've been cleaning them, and they're not squeaking as bad as they were, but they're gonna squeak for a while. But the brakes, they work fine, don't worry about it. Oh, squirrel, get out of the trail. Get out of the trail, squirrel. Squirrel, get out of the trail. That was funny. One thing we've noticed lately, trail riding, is that the rodents seem to be very suicidal. Particularly the chipmunks, who wait on the edge of the trail till right before your bike comes by, and then they dash across the trail. And we've seen several that didn't make it. I can't understand why they do that. That was just a squirrel sitting in the middle of the trail who refused to run off the trail while I was chasing them. So I don't know what's going on with the rodents here in Kalamazoo. Anyway, we both love the house, and so after our first offer on a different house was not accepted because someone else made a cash offer on a house that we liked. It was a little bigger than our house, and actually probably about the same price, but not as cool, frankly, and definitely not as great a location in terms of this park. So when that offer got turned down, we were like, should we wait? Since I hadn't even started my job here yet. And then we were like, you know what? We both really love the greenhouse. Let's make an offer. So we did. It was accepted. And we literally bought the house months before my job started, and I even moved here. So that was kind of crazy. Not too many untenured associate professors or assistant professors buy houses before they even start their jobs. But nevertheless, that's what we did. And we haven't regretted it. We love the house. And in fact, its value has gone up dramatically. One, because housing, just in general, all houses have gone up. But since we bought the house, about maybe 7 years ago or so, the city put a paved trail in to the whole eastern side of El Sabo Central Park, and they popped through and made that entrance right across the street from our driveway. And when that happened, our realtor, who I hadn't heard from in 10 years, called me and said, "You want to sell your house? It just went up thousands of dollars because of that trail entrance." And luckily, they just put that one paved trail in on the east side of the park, so the rest of the park is still just as beautiful and undisturbed as it always was. Just like this. Just dirt trails and not a lot of people. Of course, this is a Monday, so it's not unusual that we don't see anybody. All right. We are now, I forget the name of this part of the trail, but the trails all have names. Now that I have this new bike and it's summer and this is across the street, I'm doing this more often. I used to split up my cardio a lot more, just running certain days and biking other days, and swimming. And now, and maybe it's just because the bike is so new and it's fun to ride, but I'm finding myself, if I'm in the basement doing a workout, the last thing I want to do is get on my elliptical or my recumbent bike when I could be out here riding in the woods. I will run tomorrow. Sometimes in July and August, mostly July, it can get very buggy in here. Whew, I'm a little out of breath from that hill. I should have geared down. And the bugs that you get in here are deer flies, which bite a lot and swarm and are generally unpleasant. So usually in July, we go running from Portage, where a lot fewer bugs, and then we resume running in here in the fall when it cools down. The bugs are gone, but it's July 10th and I don't see any bugs today, not significantly. Of course, on a bicycle you're going a little faster than the bugs. All right, this is a part of the trail that goes to this beautiful overlook, but I don't think we're going to be able to see much from the overlook today because there used to be this beautiful kind of deck, you know, an overlook deck that you could sit on and enjoy the view. But it was falling apart and was not safe, so they tore it down. So it's gone. And also, in the summer, when it's super lush and green in here like it is, you don't get much of a view. In the winter, it's much more open. And you can see how big the park is, really. We're about halfway in the park, and you'll see the park is about 5 miles long and about 2 miles wide. So it's pretty big. This is where the old overlook was. Pretty, but you can't see anything but trees. All right, we're gonna cut back to the main trail now. I don't know if you want to watch this whole video, or Mom, if you're gonna get dizzy or nauseous watching this thing. And it's not very eventful. I mean, I guess if I crashed the bike, it would be eventful, but hopefully we will avoid that. I also don't have a kit. Most cyclists, trail riders have a kit with like an inner tube and a little thing to blow up your tire. You know, just in case, that was a person, so I stopped talking. Just in case you get a flat, or you know, you get derailed or something happens. So I'm just, you know, winging it. If something happens, I'll just have to walk the bike home. And actually, that happened before. I did have a flat and had to walk my bike home. So we'll just hope that I have no mishaps on the trail today. I don't expect to. All right. I'm not a big fan of sand on the trail. but it is a little easier on this bike, which kind of everything's easier on this bike, but it the tires are wider than my other mountain bike, so I have a little more stability. A lot of sand here. Okay. All right. Okay. We're now coming to the marsh. So finally something to see besides trees just coming at you. So this is the marshy area. Sometimes you see snapping turtles laying their eggs here on this little land bridge. Sometimes you see swans, a lot of water birds, cranes, sandhill cranes. So this is the marsh here to our left. Let's tell how pretty that is. Squeaky breaks little moment so you can kind of see it. I don't know if you can see it all, but there it is. Look how beautiful. Very pretty. Okay, on we go. All right, we're gonna go up a pretty severe hill. Let's see how the bike does. I'm sure it'll be fine. I've gone up the hill on my other bike, so I don't see why I couldn't go up on this easier. All right, here we go. And up the hill. The gear down a little bit. It's pretty sandy. Not a lot of traction, actually. Come on. Here we go. Come on. Come on, cherry bomb. Okay. There we go. Still a little more hill, but not like that. All right. Whew. Here's the top of the hill. Fix. Let's gear down. Gear up. And this is a pump house, because as I explained, this is a marsh, and this is actually where there's a lake and a marsh, and a good amount of the water, our Kalamazoo, comes out of this park. So that pumps it. Okay, this is the high road. I mean, it may have a real name, but Brian and I call it the high road because there's two parallel trails here on this part of the park. Actually, three technically, but the third one's paved. We don't use it. So this is basically, it's called the high road because it's on top of a hill. And eventually we will reach the end of the park and we'll go down the hill and go back on the low road. That actually is a cut trail that takes you to the low road. But before we do that, we're going to take a little extra trail here, which just kind of takes us on an extra little loop. When we're running, we don't usually go this way, but on the mountain bike, I do because it's fun and I want a slightly longer trip. It's kind of brushy in here. This is a little tree down. Okay. Very brushy today. Getting pretty overgrown in here. Okay. Should have worn a little sleeved shirt. All right. Been doing a little surveying. Let's see, when people ride bikes, do they ride with their mouth open or closed? Which is not that much of an issue. You don't really think about it until you eat a bug. And I definitely am a mouth open rider, and I have eaten many bugs. In Clinton, when I ride my bike, they have shad flies, which are kind of like a greasy, slow, ugly cousin of a dragonfly. And I've eaten a few of those. They're salty. Maybe get some. It's actually good to get the brakes squeaking because that is gonna. The squeaking is going to help wear off the grease, and it eventually will get better. Last time I was in here, there was a tree down, but it seems to have been taken care of. And that's another nice thing about this park is, I don't know who they are, but there are people that work for them. And if there's a tree down on the trail, it gets reported. And someone comes in here with chainsaws and removes it, takes care of it. I think what I'll do is I will post this video on YouTube. So, Mom, you can watch this on your TV instead of on your phone, which will make it more of a roller coaster ride, I guess. So I hope if it's too much, just stop watching it. It's not that interesting, but it's fun. All right. We have another hill here to conquer. Much easier with all the sand. All right, that's the end of our extra trail. We're back on the high road. Whew. There's a lot of wildflowers in here. Although you get a lot more of them in the spring than you do in the summer. Summer just gets very green. I've run out of things to say. We're actually coming to the top of the park. And up here, there's this one home, just this one house that has a property right at the top of the park. And when Chompers and Brian and I would run in here back in the day, they had 2 dogs, and they used to run out to the trail to say hi to Chompers. They had a little dog who was very small, like Barnaby size, and was very confident and would run right into the trail and say hello. And they had a big golden retriever who was quite shy, and he would just kind of hang back and wait to make sure the coast was fine and the people and dogs were friendly. So we're not going to really see the house because I'm going to turn right here. But, well, to your left, you can see the outline of it. All right. Now we're going to the hill to the low road and this beautiful lake. That's one of my favorite places pretty much in the world. It's kind of my zen place. If Brian and I time our runs right, we hit the view of the lake at sunrise, which is very pretty. And I actually, this side of the lake is the park, and the other side of the lake are private homes. And my one semi-regret, not really, but I did look at a house that was one of the houses on the other side of the lake here, which you'll see shortly. And didn't buy it, obviously. Squeak! All right, my brakes are going to squeak on the hill, so not so much talking. Here's the lake. All right, here's the lake. Isn't that pretty? Whoop, no, you can't see it. Where is it? Well, that's the lake right there. And you can see the houses on the other side. So the house I looked at was not one of those 2 that you can see, but it was set further back, but it did have lake access, even though it wasn't lakefront. But it broke a couple of my rules. One, it was a little bit outside our price range. It was probably about $25,000 more than the house we bought. And it was a fixer-upper. I would have definitely had to redo the kitchen and some of the bathrooms and all the carpet. It was. I would have had to buy it for more money than I wanted, and then put immediate money into it because you couldn't really live in it. I mean, I guess you could, but anyway, I didn't buy it, obviously. It would have been nice to be on this lake, but I love our house, so no complaints. All right, this is kind of my favorite part of the trail for biking because it's a little kind of like a ride. It's a lot of twists and turns and ups and downs, which I like on a mountain bike. It kind of makes it fun. So we'll pick up a little speed here so you get some of the experience. When you go to the Three Rivers mountain bike trail, it's kind of like this the whole way, except for the hills are more intense, but it's lots of ups and downs and twists the whole, for 7 miles or whatever the trail is. But I do enjoy this little bit of it here, as long as I don't hit a tree. I don't know if you saw it, but there was another chipmunk just ran right in front of my wheels. Had all day to cross that trail. Waited till I was right on there. But he made it across alive. Okay. Okay, this is the main part of the low road. You can see it's quite wide. This is where like they can bring a service truck in. At least this far. If they need to do anything. And you can see here on the left, that's one of the pumps that provides water to the Kalamazoo community. This is technically my fourth official cherry bomb ride, and I feel like I'm now used to him. He's a little different in terms of like, I think the handlebars are a little closer to the seat. There's another chipmunk, don't run. And of course the steering is a little different because the tires are so different. But I feel quite comfortable and in control of the cherry bomb. All right, we are coming back to the land bridge. So to our right is that big hill that we did. We're going to turn left and go back across the land bridge and finish off the southern end of the park. So this is the end of our northern trip. Don't see any snapping turtles today. A lot of birds calling. We have a dog. Hello. That's not something Chompers ever did. Chompers certainly ran with me, but he never ran alongside a bike. I'm sure he would have liked it. I really like the transmission on this bike. It's very smooth. Definitely an upgrade from what I had. Whoa! I think that was part of the bike. I think that was just a twig or something. Something went flying, but I think it was just something off the trail. Sand. More sand. Roots. Roots and sand, sand and roots. Oh, all right. We're now going to the southern part of the park. The park actually is two parks. We're gonna do a big hill. Here's my witch house. Here's the hill. All right, here we go. Luckily, this hill's not so sandy, but very steep. There's somebody's shirt. Whoa. Okay. All right. There's a little workout. You guys are in a movie. Huh? I'm making a movie. They didn't sign a release. C'est la vie. There's another witch TP. So the southernmost part of the park is not public. For the last, I don't know how many years, 50 years, who knows, it's been a Boy Scout camp. And a pretty sizable one with, I don't know, a lot of cabins and activities and camping and a lake. I never realized quite how large it was until the camp had closed, and Brian and I were running and decided to cross the line that says do not enter, and ran through the camp, and I didn't realize how big it is. It's quite large, and there are a lot of buildings. You know, they're all campy buildings, you know, log cabins and activity cabins, that kind of thing, but it's like any other big sleepaway camp. Anyway, the Boy Scout camp is closed, and we're still not sure what's happening with the property. So right now it's all chained off. You can't go in. And I keep hoping it's going to become a actual state campground where you can go camping, because there's a lake, it's pretty. But as of yet, there's still no information. Here's the parking lot. Now we're going back north. So we're almost done with our ride. This is the last part of it. Very quick. Back to the house. So congratulations on making it through a single track mountain bike ride with me in El Sabo. Beautiful El Sabo. Having this across the street from your house is very nice. It's, you know, It's not something I really ever thought about, living in New York for 20 years. I mean, obviously, when I lived in New York, my first apartment was East Village. The second apartment I inherited more or less from my sister-in-law, and it was really just 3 blocks from Central Park, or two blocks from Central Park. And so I had, access to the park, which made living in New York City a little less claustrophobic. But I certainly never thought about living with access to something like this. And this is just magnificent, still pretty wild, a lot of animals, not very many people, and it's big. Woo, sand, sand, sand. All right, we're gonna do the little last leg of the trip shortly. And people were asking me, there's a absolutely huge blackberry patch, wild blackberry patch, right here in the park. Look at that, there's a deer. I don't know if you saw it. Very big, female. Large blackberry patch, which you can walk to very easily from my house. And it's huge. I mean, it's probably several hundred blackberry bushes, all in a very tight area. And you can just go in there and harvest as many blackberries as you want. In fact, most of them just end up falling to the ground because not very many people seem to know about this patch. The blackberries are good, and they're a little tart. They're not super sweet. So they're perfect for like baking or jam or just eating yogurt. We're gonna see how soon we'll have blackberries shortly, because it's right up this part of the trail here. So let's check on my blackberries. Okay, this is the patch, and nothing's ripe yet, but you can see thousands and thousands and thousands of blackberries are coming in. They're still kind of in the pink stage, but they're coming in. There they are. So we will have blackberries probably maybe 2 weeks, that's my guess. Last year, their timing was quite good because I was home recovering from the surgery when the blackberries came in, and I was able to walk in here and harvest blackberries. And funny story, my friends David and Sherry came over, and they were both retired dance faculty, and David's like my main tennis buddy, and Sherry, she's just one of the most elegant women you've ever met. Other than when I see her at the gym, she's always in heels and always looks like she just stepped out of Saks, But she's not. She's a regular gal. She's just classy. Anyway, they came to visit me while I was in recovery, and I said, "You want to go pick blackberries?" And she was in like heels and a short skirt. So of course she was game to do it. All right, that's the end of the trip. We're back here at the entrance. So that's pretty much the full park. And as you can see, when you come down this road here, you'll get a nice view of my house right across the street. You can't beat that. Can't beat that. All right, so now we just go right into my driveway. And here's my beautiful house and my yard. And that concludes our cycling trip. Congratulations. And now I will turn off the camera.